Hey, how you doing out there, everybody? This is William Leroux coming to you again with my perspective on things. Been thinking a lot lately about racism. You know, um, the Democratic Party keeps talking about how Republicans, Donald Trump at the top of the party, are nothing but racists. You know, they hate black people. Trump especially hates Mexicans. And they go on and on. And they cite things like the Charlottesville incident that happened back in 2017 when there were white supremacists and Antifa, really leftist liberals out there clashing together. And the whole thing was just based upon, people clashing together, but they made it look like it was all Trump's fault, that he was responsible for that, and he praised the white supremacists, praised these people, which he really didn't do. It's taken out of context. It just seems to me that over the past couple of years, everything Trump says they listen to with a fine-tooth comb, and they try to take it right out of context. They'll take a soundbite out of context. Like he'll talk for a minute or two, and they'll take maybe, a couple seconds of it. He says, see, he's a racist. And this is supposed to prove that hypothesis. It's faulty. And it's just part of their, the Democrats have nothing to stand on. They have no platform, other than they just want to get rid of this president. They have no platform. They say they represent the rights of the minorities and that sort of thing. Well, let's talk about that for a little bit. Okay? When's the last time you went to a place like Baltimore, Maryland? That is a city that's been dominated by Democratic politics, leftist politics, for years and years and years and years. I don't know how many years in particular. Let's just say it's probably around 30, 40 years. Okay? During that time, the city has basically, fell into poverty. Okay? I remember back when they redeveloped the city, they did some downtown revitalization, and I remember I went to Baltimore, and I was really struck by how amazing that place looked. I mean, the waterfront area was very, very clean and brand new, and there were a lot of things to do, but then I started reading things like, Baltimore reached number one per capita in the United States for drug abuse. They have more heroin addicts in Baltimore based upon population demographics than any other state than any other city in the United States of America. And I thought, gee, Baltimore's such a nice city, right? And the politicians have been found to be corrupt. I know the latest mayor is under a lot of fire. She's going to be indicted for some crimes, and the mayor before that came on TV. If you remember some stuff that she was involved in, and she got out of office, and there's just corruption after corruption, right? And they say they're here to help the downtrodden. They're here to help the disenfranchised among us. But you know what it really is? It's basically enriching yourself. Okay, that's what their politics about, enriching themselves. Okay. Here's a case in point. Bernie Sanders goes around saying they hates millionaires, that we need to tax them, take that money away. We need to redistribute the wealth. Well, Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. He made $1 million off the book that he wrote. Okay? Now, he wouldn't have been able to do that unless he was, because he was in office and all that stuff, and his popularity, he was able to gain his fortune that way. And how does he respond to that? Well, I wrote a book and people bought it, so that's the way it is. Why doesn't he take some of that money and say, listen, I don't want to be a hypocrite, so I'm going to donate half of my money to charity. I'm gonna feed the homeless in Baltimore or his own state of Delaware. He's going to do some goodness for the population. But no, they keep their money and they just keep getting richer. So don't believe the hypocrisy, please. I was doing some research today. I looked around at different articles. I googled this: Democratic history of racism. Okay, so it's easy. Just Google it yourself. Democratic history of racism, I came upon an interesting article written by someone from the Washington Examiner, published on August 18, 2017 by Jennifer Kearns. And I want to just kind of read some of that to show you the hypocrisy and the lies and this deceit you're being fed by fueled by the Democratic Party. Every time you listen to them, they're always talking about, that Republicans are racist. Don't trust Republicans. They're all rich. They want to take your money, and they don't care about you. They just as soon see you die. That's so bogus. This article is based upon facts. Here we go. Inside, over the past 100 years, Republicans have stood up for African Americans, while Democrats not only stood on the sidelines, but in fact served as obstructionists to civil liberties. Here's 12 examples that were written in this article with what she's talking about. Democrats voted against every piece of civil rights legislation in Congress from 1866 to 1966, a whopping 100 years. This is a dismal record for today's Democrats, who would like you to believe that history has been on their side on this issue. It hasn't. Democrats voted to keep African Americans in slavery, opposing the 13th Amendment, which officially freed the slaves. Only 4 Democrats voted for it. Republicans also passed the 14th Amendment, which granted slaves U.S. citizenship. Democrats voted against it. Republicans also passed the 15th Amendment, which gave slaves the right to vote. Not a single one of the 56 Democrats in Congress voted for it. Republicans, listen to this again. Republicans passed the 15th Amendment, which gave slaves the right to vote. Not a single one of the 56 Democrats voted for it. They all voted no. Shame on them. Further, Republicans passed all of the civil rights laws of the 1860s, including the Civil Rights Act of 1866 and Reconstruction Act of 1867 following the Civil War. Republicans. The Republican Party itself was founded as an anti-slavery party in 1854. The party subsequently gave us President Abraham Lincoln and ultimately the Emancipation Proclamation, which led to the liberation of slaves. Republicans supported African Americans not only in the 1800s, but in modern times as well. In the 1960s, with the exception of the Democratic President Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was instrumental in the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, kudos to him. In the wake of assassination of President Johnson, the truth is that Democrats were the largest single blockade to civil rights. Democrats were the largest blockade to civil rights. So there you have it. There's like a little snapshot of the historical perspective of the Democratic Party. I hope you take some time to research it on your own. Take some time to look into these matters and find out the truth for yourself and make your own decisions about who should be in office. I really encourage you to do that. I have. I started out as a Democrat years ago. I was very liberal. I worked in the public sector for many, many years, where you really got to vote liberal if you want to keep your money. That's what I thought, right? But that's not true either. Republicans have voted just as money to help the poor as anybody else, and Democrats can't use that as like, oh, we voted for this, we voted for that to help people, because they haven't. They basically have voted against legislation that would free the slaves and et cetera, et cetera. So don't believe this hogwash. Research for yourself. And I want everybody to be really serious about who they're going to vote for the next president. I'm supporting President Trump because I think he's done a marvelous job. Do some research and find out for yourself. Don't listen to the Democrats bad-mouthing him and saying all this falsehood about him, because it's just not true. Do your own research. Everybody have a great day, and look forward to talking to you again. Goodbye.